I've got a hell of a story for you tonight, and it's about a particular act of heroism by a particular individual, a pilot in the Royal Air Force in World War II, involving that aeroplane. Lost and found, the mystery of the Norwegian Spitfire, which is a mystery we shall solve this evening. First of all, before I do this, just want to give you a quick bit of background about the Spitfire. That is R.J. Mitchell. R.J. Mitchell designed the Supermarine Spitfire from scratch. Some 10 years earlier, he created this aircraft, which some of you might recognise as being a Supermarine S2B, which won the Schneider Trophy for Great Britain 3 years in a row in 1929, 30 and 31. Men pilots in fighter command and also women of the Air Transport Auxiliary loved flying this aeroplane. It had an incredible rate of turn, an incredible rate of ascent, and a great over-the-ground speed. They all also said that it felt as if they just had to think of a movement to make in the cockpit and the Spitfire would obey them. But for me, the greatest quote was by the very highly decorated German Messerschmitt pilot, a chap called Adolf Gelland. He said that if he and his squadron were bounced on by a squadron of Hurricanes, that was going to be another day in the office. If he was bounced on by a squadron of Spitfires, he wouldn't know whether he was going to make it home safely that day. This Spitfire also needed a very, very special pilot. Now, all the PRU pilots were especially gifted aviators, but Sandy was special. Sandy was 20 years old when he joined the Royal Air Force in 1940. He became pilot officer pretty quickly, and he was a Perthshire boy, born of, his father was a surgeon, and he was very good at school and a tremendous athlete. And his particular skills, based on about 15 months with the British Coast Guard, were in navigation, and that was crucial. You see, his job was to fly his Spitfire from RAF Wick in Scotland to an area just north of Trondheim in northern Norway, where it was thought the Tirpitz was currently lying to. So in his Spitfire cockpit, his compass would tell him where north is, and so he'd literally have to point until the compass heading says 052 and then proceed. Now, you might think that's all he had to do, just sit back, have his sandwiches. But here's the thing. If he's on a heading of 052, he's heading for this lady here, okay? You're where the Tirpitz was last seen. But if I've got a strong wind on the nose, I'm going to wonder when the hell I'm going to get to you, because I keep getting pushed back. It's hard to gauge. Similarly, if I've got a strong tailwind, I might overfly you before I've realised. But they were industrious years. You see, in that time, he and his colleagues were building 3 underground escape tunnels. They were called Tom, Dick and Harry. Why 3? Well, for backup and redundancy, basically. And as it turned out, it was Harry that was the remaining tunnel that was going to be good enough for an escape on Friday, the 24th to 25th of March 1940. Where? And it wasn't for 76 years before, literally 6 years ago, in 2018, this organisation, Spitfire 88810, which was the registration on Sandy's aircraft, found the remains in Norway. There were quite a lot of big bits left because he was shot down at low level, as we've discussed. Thank you very much indeed.